welcome Cece Xavier to John Doyle Band in Conversation. So welcome, Cece.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to finally have a bit of a chat about things. I mean, obviously first encountered you in Hemmingway, and we'll perhaps go into why it's just Cece these days a bit later, but but you've also worked with the shamen, you say?
I have.
Yeah,
yes,
we'll get you hobnobbing with celebrities, eh? Or maybe I say hobnobbing with celebrities. I guess that makes you one then.
Well, I certainly don't see myself that way. But yeah, I mean, when I first joined them, I really didn't know very much about them, to be fair. It was only when I actually got the job through an audition that I realised actually they're quite a big deal, or they were at the time.
What time was it that you joined the shamen then?
It was probably back in '91.
That's definitely pretty big deal shaman times, I think.
It was. I mean, I joined them about a week before Move Any Mountain went top 5.
Well, that's pretty good going, you know. I mean, and how long did you hang around with these ne'er-do-wells?
I probably stayed with them for around a year, and did mainly touring work with them. So we did like a UK tour, and then we went on the world tour, which was an amazing experience. Got to see a lot of mainly Japan and a lot of the States. We did like a huge statewide tour. So that was really good experience, just learning about being on the road.
Yeah.
Live performance, in terms of live performance, it's a great experience. But recording wise, I think in the end, the record company was just looking for a different recording voice.
Yeah.
A different style, and they just weren't happy with my style. So
that's not fair.
We kind of parted ways, and in the end it all worked out quite amicably, and then I went on to sign a solo deal with the same label as D Ream.
Right, so you sort of not only hobnobbing with the celebrities like the shaman, but also Brian Cox as well. Did you encounter any of his physics? Yeah. We'll leave it there, shall we? Anyway, that's a tale we can't go into. That's secret information. Anyway, but this isn't about the shaman. This is about you. I'm keen to find out more about your voice and so forth. So we should really get on with telling people exactly what you're about now. So come on, tell everyone why you're amazing. Come on, no humility, just brag like mad. That's what we want. This is about you. This is your time. So tell everyone what they're missing out on by not knowing what you're doing, if indeed they don't.
I think one of the reasons why I think people have kind of warmed to my music. This is what I get told, is that I'm quite open about my vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people don't like to feel that they're the only one who feels vulnerable. It's nice to know that you've got other people in the same boat as you, I think. And I've always been quite open about talking about, things that in life that are difficult to talk about, like, I don't know, like relationships and mental health issues, just pulling that one out because my EP was heavily influenced by a lot of mental health issues, because I think they affect more people than other people people don't like to admit to that kind of thing. It's that there's still kind of a lot of stigma and taboo around that kind of issue, and I just wanted to kind of break those down.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think perhaps more and more people are becoming willing to talk about mental health a lot more, and I think there's probably still a lot further to go, but we're definitely doing better these days. So let's go back to Hemmingway days and tell us about that project, and how's that different from you as you are? How much was Hemmingway solo and how much was it duo?
Well, I think I just started to get back into music after a long kind of break from it. So I was kind of taking baby steps back into it and writing songs. And again, I decided, I think I made one of the mistakes I made when I was younger in the industry was really kind of trying to fit the mold of what other people wanted me to be, rather than me kind of being able to express myself freely as an artist. So Hemmingway was the perfect opportunity for me to do that. And I thought, I've always kind of written on my own. I was signed as a solo artist, a few years, before I got back into it. And I thought, actually, I'd really kind of like I like the idea of working in a partnership this time and seeing what another person could bring to the project.
And how much did how was it then writing with someone else?
I mean, I'd say in terms of the songwriting, melody, lyrics, chord structures, things like that. I mean, I kind of wrote the bulk of it, but then I think in terms of instrumentation and production, my musical partner Dave, at the time, Dave Moriarty, he brought in lots of different ideas about guitar parts, and sometimes he would kind of give me really good ideas on maybe altering the structure, so we'd mess around with the structure of the songs a bit more, and definitely with production. He'd introduced me to bands like Pussy Riot and Dream Wife, and I thought, I've never heard of these bands before, and I'd listen to the production and think, that would be something I would never have thought of trying.
How many of these bands, such as Pussy Riot and Dream Wife, did you take to then? Which was there a favourite of those? Did you even take to them, or did you just think that's kind of interesting but not my thing?
I'd say, yeah. I mean, I thought it was interesting. It wouldn't be something that would be on my Spotify playlist, if I'm honest.
No.
But
you tend to be focused mainly on electronics, don't you? So what attracts you to the electronic side so much?
I just like the layering of sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that you can just multi-layer to your heart's content, and it's just
infinite possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it gives you a wider scope to be creative.
When you're feeling all dried up, I can give you what you need. I can make your garden grow. I can bear you fruit on trees. I can be the waterfall that will make you catch your breath. I can be the blue lagoon. I can take you to my depths. Use me and abuse me. Don't tell me you were warned. In a heartbeat, I can break you down. I can be a mighty storm. If you use me and abuse me, don't tell me you were warned. In a heartbeat, I can break you down. I can be a mighty storm. I'm fluid like water. I'm streaming down an ocean. I'm a river.
Do you work mainly in soft synth, or do you use physical synths in your work?
Can I make a confession?
No? I didn't expect that one, did you? No. Go on then. Go on.
I'm a little bit scared of hard synths.
There's a lovely one there behind me, look. That's lovely. It's nice Juno 60.
Yeah.
It doesn't bite, look. It's fine. Look, I touched it and I'm still alive. Don't be afraid of...
Yeah, I think I will work up to it. I would love to get to the point where I am actually using live synths in a live show.
Yeah.
But I've yet to build up the courage to dare to do that.
So do you have a favourite soft synth then?
I'm a bit of a dinosaur because I use Reason, and I don't
Right.
know anybody else that uses that software.
So what attracts you to Reason? Is it just it's the first one you encountered, maybe?
I think the first I went back to, before that, back in the day, I was a Cubase and an Atari girl. So, I kind of got used to using the Cubase program. I did have a little dabble in Logic back in the day, but I found Cubase a lot easier to use. And I think when I went back to music a good few years later, I think Reason was probably the closest to Cubase, but it had additional synths, additional features. So that's the kind of one I went for in the end.
Tends to come packaged with quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. So in terms of like the digital synths inside the program, I quite like using the Thor. That's a nice one to use.
You took rather an extended break from music for a while. Sort of things, I believe you said, got rather on top of you toward the end of doing Hemmingway.
I think the first, and again, the first time around, I think what happens is when I've kind of got back into music, it's kind of like it can become all consuming.
Yeah.
And I think that, that was definitely the case the first time around. I think because I was so passionate about it, I just let that passion completely override everything else. And unfortunately, it was to the detriment of my health as well, where I was just burning the candle at both ends, trying to achieve impossible tasks sometimes and give myself a really hard time if I didn't complete them.
What was it, perhaps, that made you decide to come back, and why did you come back as a solo artist?
I mean, I think we got to the point with Hemmingway where we both felt we'd taken it as far as it could go.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, we're not getting the traction that we need. We're not getting, we don't fit in anywhere in terms of live gigs. It was very hard for us to find a home for our sort of music, because it was such a hybrid that people didn't really know what to do with
Standing in a field, the sun is beating down. All my troubles fly away. I'm standing on the shoulders of my beloved town. It's telling me to seize the day, 'cause I really don't wanna wait. There's never gonna be a right time. Jump the garden gate. We're running out towards the sunshine, 'cause I really don't wanna wait. There's never gonna be a right time.
What was that spark to start off again?
So basically, I just missed it. I really missed making music, and once I've been away from it for a while, I just get a hankering, and then I just get melodies, words, little pieces of ideas just keep floating in and out of my head, and I just think I can't rest until I've actually got these down somewhere.
Is the lyrics first, or is it like music first, or is it just as it happens?
It can happen a million different ways. Sometimes I'll get a piece of music floating around. Sometimes it might be a line of a lyric just rattling around in my head. I think, I must do something with that. Sometimes I've woken up and I've dreamt entire songs.
So you released a new EP in recent times. So tell us about that EP. What's it called? Where can we get it? And what's it all about?
So my first solo EP was called Strong at the Broken Places, which was interestingly enough a Hemingway quote from Ernest Hemingway.
Interesting. So there's still that connection there going off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I say, I learned a lot through that experience. I mean, Dave is like one of my biggest champions still. He was like, you must write a solo EP. It would be absolutely outrageous if you didn't. You've got to do it. So he kind of encouraged me really to keep going, even though we weren't writing together anymore. And he said, you've got great songs. He said, you don't need me to keep going. You can do this.
Yeah, you have a wonderful sense of melody. As soon as you shared something again, had that sound, which I think came through from Hemmingway too. I think it showed what you contributed there. And I was instantly taken yet again with your melody. So what's on that EP then? What are the tracks on there? And tell us about them.
The EP, which you can pretty much download or stream anywhere. It's pretty much everywhere now, so it's not hard to get hold of. There are 5 tracks on the EP. So the first track is called Same Air, which I think probably had a similar kind of vibe to Fluid Like Water. One of my biggest influences is Alison Goldfrapp. I'm a huge fan of hers.
Oh, definitely. Why would you not be?
She's just amazing. Just love her. So so Same Air was kind of an influence from them. And then I also wrote a track called Full Stop, which lyrically was kind of like about not being life not being a full stop and being able to keep going, kind of like a little nod to the kind of Semicolon project about dealing with those dark times, those dark hours, and managing to get through to the other side. And it's style wise, I would say, well, actually somebody else described it as trip hop meets drum and bass.
Which sounds a fabulous combination for sure. And what else was on the EP? How many tracks was it?
So it's 5 tracks. So the third track on there was a track called Flames. And then there was another track called Run, which was written just after the Charlottesville riots, to basically say we don't run, we stand and fight these bigots. And I was quite vocal about how angry I was at the time, and it was a perfect place to kind of vent that through a song.
Yeah.
So Run was quite political for me, and I'm not normally hugely political, but for that song I thought that needed to be said.
Definitely.
And the final track on the EP was an a cappella track, which I kind of just put on as a little bit of a side note, to be honest.
Has anyone taken that and put music to it?
Well, funny enough, tomorrow I released my remixes EP of Siren.
Also, we want to touch on, I know you've been vocal about things like women in music, and also the lack of diversity sometimes, because it's practically all white people all the time. So perhaps you want to say a little bit about that.
I mean, like I say, I've been working in music over the decades, kind of floating in and out, and just seeing the changes. I think now more and more opportunities are opening up. I'm seeing a lot more diversity amongst young female artists, in terms of ethnicity as well. I'm seeing that really coming through. I don't see it just being a kind of exclusively white environment. So I'm pleased to see that for young female artists coming through, I'd say there's more opportunity there for more diversity. I think the music industry has recognised that, and there are lots of kind of organisations that are supporting more diversity nowadays. So I'm glad to see that is happening. In terms of female live performances, I mean, when I look at festival lineups, I still think we've got a long way to go.
Yeah, it still tends to be lacking. I mean, it's interesting. A friend on International Women's Day shared a post saying that it's something like less than 1% of the charts, perhaps, is solo female written tracks. I mean, there are duos and so forth, but there's something like 50% is solo male written, and surely that's got to change. I mean, as you said, the festival lineups, and also just so much which is, so much is just written by men. We need to get the female voices out there, definitely.
Absolutely, definitely. I mean, that is one thing that I've always tried to do, and I think this year has definitely been my year for collaborations. So my next project that it's in production at the moment, is a synth pop EP that is solely written, produced, and performed by women.
That sounds excellent. So is that got a name yet?
It's not at the moment. It's still a work in progress. So,
are you allowed to tell us who else is involved, if indeed you know the full lineup?
Can't disclose too much at the moment.
Like Paula Abdul and
we've got a couple of really fresh up and coming talents, and I am working with a more established talent, and I have to say the girls have been absolutely amazing. We've really bonded over the recording process, yeah, even though we've had to do it all via distance recording, sharing files, and probably know how it is.
Yeah. Most of my stuff's done like that anyway, so
So even though it has been done, with social distancing and everything in place, we've had lots and lots of like video chats, and just we text all the time, and we've really bonded as a little group, and I'm really proud of the work that we've produced, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you when it's ready.
Well, I look forward to it very much as well. So we're pretty much done. So any other artists you'd like to recommend us, like maybe recommend us some female artists that you're enjoying at the moment, perhaps?
Yeah. I would say go and check out, there's an artist called Holly Ann. She's absolutely brilliant. She's I think she's Bradford based.
So a fellow Yorkshire person then. That's good.
I don't know where to start, don't know how to say how I feel today. Is this all in my mind, when all I do is find myself going through the motions? There seems no escape, there seems no hope. What's the point in trying?
Well, is anyone else you want to mention?
There is a fabulous American singer called Charlie Young.
And what are they all about?
She's absolutely brilliant. She's worked with so many different people. She's worked with a really good producer called Fonz, and I recommend you check out his work as well. He's a bit of a champion of working with female artists as well. He's always collaborating and making sure that females have a platform for music as well. He's great.
That sounds excellent.
I want to fly all around the city. I want to hang high up in the sky with you. I want to take every single risk, live it on the edge. You know that I am ready. Yeah, maybe I'm a crazy fool. I'm waiting. Come and get me. Take me
also, I must big up my my guy. One of my guys on my EP for the remixes EP is Steve Mortimer of Blackchapel. He is absolutely such a brilliant advocate for boosting women in the industry. He made a fantastic film called Connect, which is all about ecofeminism and about how the earth is, how people believe that the earth, if the earth had a gender, the earth would be female.
And they do say Mother Earth, so maybe so.
Yeah.
Try to drown my words, but they will rise up to the surface. You can try to burn my words, but they'll survive your bitter furnace. You can try to crush my words, they'll piece their way back together. You can try to tear my words, they'll make their way back to the paper. You can take my dignity. You can take my...
Anything else you'd like to add then?
I should give a shout out to my other two fantastic remixers. Go check out Sonic Construction and Carmel as well. They have done fantastic remixes, which we will hopefully be sharing on Instagram Live tonight.
Just briefly cover, where can we find you on Instagram then? Because you're often doing some live streams on there and so forth, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. So you can find me under Cece X.
That is the letters CECEX, just in case you couldn't possibly work that out.
So if you just look me up on Instagram, and we'll be doing a live stream tonight, a little preview of the remixes EP tonight, and having a chat with each remixer as well. We're not competitive at all, but we would like to know which mix you think was the best.
Well, the one that I would have done, obviously, Anyway, obviously people can now, when this is released, go back and look at that, and there's a YouTube channel. Will it be going on there as well?
I would have thought so. Yeah. We'll try and share it once
And
it's,
Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of jazz.
all of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. I do wish you the best of success with everything, and I do say you do have a wonderful sense of melody in your tracks, which I enjoy very much. So thank you, Cece, and hopefully everyone will now stream and buy and follow and all that kind of thing. So thank you, and all the best.
Very much. Thank you.
All right, bye for now.
Sometimes